Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Carving It Up Live right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitter. As always, I'm Bryson Carver. Boy, this is going to be a fun one tonight. NBA tip-off tonight. The 2021-2022 NBA season begins. Let's hope it's the first completely normal season in regards to, obviously, COVID will be a storyline that we'll get to, obviously, during the show. But hopefully the first normal-ish season since about 2018, 2019. It's going to be fun. Going to be joined in a little bit by my man, John Rivera, host of the Pham Perspective podcast, frequent commenter throughout the show. So appreciate him coming on. We'll get him on pretty soon as he is ready. But to start the show, before we get into everything, because we're going to talk about, predictions for the standings with, award winners and who wins the whole darn thing. Who's winning the 2022 NBA championship? You can find that out right now on Carving It Up Live, the Carving It Up NBA tip-off show. And so, hold on. Looks like he's ready. You give me a thumbs up, John. You ready to go? You ready to go? All right, here we go. Coming on of the show right now is the host of the Pham Perspective podcast, John Rivera. My man, how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
I am doing great. It is great to have you on. And before we get into anything, I want to talk a little bit about the whole Ben Simmons saga, because it has been it's been something to behold. So according to the 76ers today, Doc Rivers asked Ben Simmons to join a defensive team drill, and Simmons refused. Rivers asked again. Simmons said no again. Rivers then told Simmons he should go home, and Simmons dropped the ball and left. So quite literally, he took his ball and went home. So it was pretty bad, to say the least. John, what are your reactions to that? Do you think the bridges are burned?
Yeah, the bridges are definitely burnt. That's just like a worker that, just like I said, doesn't want to be at work anymore, but shows up to work. So it's like, oh, you got to fire me, type sort of thing. In his circumstance, you got to trade me. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's getting there. Like you said, he said, hey, I'm here. You know what I mean? Now what you gonna do? Fire me? But you got to pay me, trade me. I get paid either way. So that's his move. That's his card that he's playing right now, because if you saw the other practices as well, like he looked at, like he wasn't even there. Like, so it was bound to happen. This was bound to happen.
It was a matter of time. It was quite literally, I wish we had the soundbite to make it that much better, but it was quite literally the very definition of, as our guy Beast Mode said, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Quite literally the definition of that. And so y'all know, John, and listeners and viewers of this know, I've been as critical as anybody of Ben Simmons. He's been the butt of a lot of jokes. But it's more than anything, it's the fact that, man, this kid's talented. And you've seen no improvement really since his rookie year. You don't see that drive to get better that you see in other players. So I can't say I'm shocked by this, but it is definitely going to be a storyline, certainly over the next week. And I'm going to make a bold prediction already to start the show. I don't think he'll be a 76er in 5 days.
Yeah,
I think he's gone.
I don't think he gets traded, because, like I said, it's hard. It's going to be one of those. Like Stephon Marbury, like, we'll pay you. We just don't want you on the court. We'll figure something out, and we'll go from there. So he's definitely, his days in Philly are definitely numbered after this.
Totally agree with you. Now, last thing before we get into the predictions, because I know everybody's excited for that. Give me a team. You're a Bulls fan. I'm a Warriors fan. I don't know if either are necessarily under the radar. I mean, there you go. You got your Bulls hat right there. I've got my let's see, I got my Steph Curry jersey for those that can see. So we're both ready to go. We're both ready for the season. But give me a team that you think is kind of going under the radar a little bit. It doesn't have to be a championship contender, but a team that, like, nobody's talking about, that you're like, man, this team actually could make some noise.
Let's see, because it's hard, because I think some teams are going to take a step back, like fire, especially in the Eastern Conference. I think my Bulls are going to jump in there, but it's hard. Like I said, it's hard. It's definitely hard. Like I said, I say our teams, I would say. I mean, we're not under the radar, but we're definitely going to be better than we were last year. So it's kind of hard. Like I said, we'll get more into the predicaments, but like I said, I see our teams as the bigger surprise, you know what I mean, going up.
Okay, listen. Again, we will get into predictions, but I definitely agree with you. I think both teams will take big steps up from where they were a year ago. So, I mean, let's stop screwing around. Let's go and jump right into it. We're going to start
Let's do it.
with the Eastern Conference. Going to pull up the standings right now. Here we go. We're going to start with the bottom 5 teams in the conference. Here you go. Predicting their records, 11 to 15. I've got Raptors, Wizards, Magic, Pistons, and Cavs finishing last in the Eastern Conference. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on these teams because they're not exactly going to be huge talking points. But
Right.
at the end of the day, with the Wizards, listen, Bradley Beal's a great player. We all know that he's one of the best scorers in basketball. But you got Kyle Kuzma, and we've seen plenty of his lowlights in since his days in the purple and gold, and really this preseason.
Right.
Washington's not even. I mean, they barely made the playoffs when they had 2 All-Star caliber players. I don't see them even sniffing the play-in with one. You look at the Raptors; they're in quote unquote cap hell with Siakam and Fred VanVleet. I mean, they're in a tough spot paying those guys what they're paying them. I like Scotty Barnes. I didn't like them at all passing up on Jalen Suggs, who the Magic do have. I think the Magic are going in the right direction, but again, still not quite there yet. Obviously, the Pistons taking Cade Cunningham, number 1, and the Cavs drafting Evan Mobley. The Cavs are a weird team because they got 3 bigs. They got 3 bigs and a bad Kevin Love contract. I think that whole organization is just a complete train wreck. What's your reaction to the bottom 5 in the East, in my opinion?
Yeah, it looks about right. I would say it looks about right. I would say Detroit would win a couple more games than you have on there. And like I said, the Wizards will be just about the same as last year. Like I said, 34 wins sounds about right. Because they got Spencer Dinwiddie as well. They got people coming off. They got people coming off injury. One of the big men coming off an injury. So I can definitely see Washington still competitive. Detroit as well. I definitely see Toronto taking, like you said, a step back. And Orlando and Cleveland, like they putting together talent, but where's going to get you? One of those sort of things. You know what I mean? Like they're getting talent, but they're still going to be on the bottom. So I definitely agree with basically what you have up there, as the bottom 5. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. I think we both, for the most part, pretty much see eye to eye. So you like Washington and Detroit a little bit more than I do. And look, I do think Detroit is absolutely going the right direction. They've gotten some of their former great players more involved with the organization, which I think is always a good move. And the Wizards. Again, I did Dinwiddie. Getting Dinwiddie was huge. Obviously, losing from the Nets, I don't think it's going to hurt Brooklyn that bad. But he's a good scorer. We all know he's been a 6th Man of the Year candidate multiple times. He's a really solid NBA player. I just don't see much from Washington. So now we're going to go to all the way to my predictions up to the 5 seed. Right? Is that the 7 seed? So we're going to talk about the teams that I think are going to be in the play-in tournament, the new play-in tournament, which I thought was a pretty good success. So here you go. At the 10 seed going to 7, I got Charlotte, Boston, Indiana, and Miami. I don't see it from Miami this year. I like the veteran talent they have, but signing Duncan Robinson to the contract they signed him, I get credit to him for getting his money. As you pointed out a few months ago, I think it's the most. I think it's the biggest contract an undrafted player has ever signed. So, listen, get your money, Duncan Robinson. Shout out to you. Boston is in a weird spot because I thought they make some moves, more moves than they did in the offseason. The last offseason was a flop. I thought this one was as well. And they added Dennis Schroeder. And we hear the reports coming out of Los Angeles that he was pretty difficult in the Lakers locker room. And guys like LeBron, Anthony Davis didn't particularly take a liking to him. And I don't anticipate that that'll be the case with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And then Charlotte, I got them right where they were last year, 10 seed. LaMelo Ball's just going to continue to get better. There's no question about it. I just don't think this team's ready to make a playoff run yet. In Indiana, look, they added Rick Carlisle, who we all know he's a championship coach. I feel like there's still some more holes in their roster. They lost Doug McDermott. So what are your reactions to my play-in teams?
The only one I would disagree with will be Miami. I think Miami would be in that top non-playing team, so the top 6. Boston, just like you said, Boston is tricky. They stuck in the middle. Like like you said, a couple years back, they were championship, like missed a championship. Now would be even when Kyrie was hurt, but now they kind of on a steady pace, and they ain't getting no further. So they gotta definitely Trey probably smart this year. He already had a little trouble this preseason, so I can see them trying to make a move and getting them big in Boston. But I do see them taking a step back. Indiana, they still got to find the identity as well, because like I said, they got Sabonis. You know, he's a good player. He's good, solid, definitely center. One of the
Right.
top young centers or power forwards, whatever you want to call them. And then the Hornets are up and comings, but they're still definitely missing pieces. So just like I said, for the only one I would disagree with would be 7, and would be the Heat. So
Yeah, and I figure I'd say a lot of people that might be my most I guess controversial, if you will, pick that I have as far as the standings in the Eastern Conference. Look, I have a lot of respect for Jimmy Butler. I don't think he's worth $40 million. I feel like the Heat might have might have overpaid a little bit. And look, you got to do that to keep star players. I understand that, but man, you
absolutely.
are you're almost stuck in regards to trying to compete for a championship. Do they maybe possibly make a move for a star player? We'll see. But I got Miami at 7. So now we're going to go up to the 3 seeds. So we're talking about teams that are maybe, I wouldn't say championship sleepers, but you give them a shower. Actually, the 4 seed. We're going to go up to the 4 seed. Here you
Okay.
go, 6 through 4. We're talking about the Knicks, Bulls, and Atlanta Hawks. Hawks 4, Bulls 5, and
Gotcha.
Knicks 6. I got your Bulls winning over 50 games this year
Yeah.
because you got, obviously, you add Lonzo Ball, who is kind of the, I guess, perfect prototypical point guard. He's a really good defensive player. His basketball IQ is through the roof, obviously. He's
Right.
improved his shooting, I mean, dramatically since his rookie year. You add Alex Caruso, our guy, Barry, shout out to him. We added his guy. Y'all added his guy from the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add guys like DeMar DeRozan, who averaged 21 a game last year. This is a really, really talented Bulls squad. The Knicks, I got winning 50. I think they are a team perfectly built for the regular season in that, their guys play hard. Team chemistry is great. Thibodeau's a great coach. But again, like last year, I think we may have overhyped them a little bit. I think there's only so far they can go with the guys they have. I don't think you can contend for a championship if Julius Randle is your best player. And then Atlanta, listen, Trey put on a show in last year's playoffs. You keep John Collins. Nate McMillan was probably the best coach in the NBA the second half of the season. I think Atlanta continues to go in the right direction. What are your thoughts on my 4 through 6 picks?
All right. So yeah, the Bulls are basically where I always said they'll be in the non-playing, so they'll be 5 or 6. I see them winning 50 games. Definitely improvement. Like I said, Ball improved, and he don't have to be the second or third option. You know what I mean? He's kind of the third, almost even fourth option in the Bulls, and he can just play how he want to play. You know what I mean? Freely. So definitely see that. The only thing I would disagree with you is the Knicks. Even though they improved their roster, I still see them taking a step back. Like I could see them because they overachieved last year. You know what I mean? And they added
They did.
talent with Kimball Walker and Foreigner, so they did definitely improve the team. But I see them taking a step back and maybe swapping it out with Miami, where you got 47 wins. So I can
Yep.
see them in Miami swapping it out. And also, like I said, Atlanta's going to be on that steady 1 to 6 range where they can be, because they got a lot of talent. Trae Young, he made me a believer more last year, especially in the playoffs. I wasn't a big Trae Young fan, but he definitely made me a believer last year in the playoffs and just showing that he can carry a franchise. But yeah, so like I said, I see the Knicks dropping, and like I said, I see the Bulls right where they at, and I see the Hawks right where they at. So
Okay. Well, so you would have the Knicks, excuse me. Would you have them like right in that play-in, like right where I have Miami, for example? You would have them in that play-in area.
yeah, I'll have them 7 or 8. Like
Okay.
them and the Pacers will probably be battling like almost around the same record. So that 45. I see you got the Pacers at 44. So I can see that 45, 46 range for the Knicks and the Pacers, like fighting for that eighth and seventh spot right there, the playing
All right,
game.
I got you. I got you. Before we move on to the top 3, really the championship contenders in the conference, I got a few comments right here. You got Grady Edwards, who's a big commenter on the show. Shouts to him. Says Lowry's an overrated signing. He's a starting caliber point guard now, but don't think he's an all-star caliber player any longer to me. It's a fair point. He didn't have a great year last year. Again, he is getting up there in age. What he provides is veteran leadership. He can help the young guys. I'm going to talk a little bit. I've got a Miami Heat winning a major award this year, so I'll save that for later in the show. So I think he'll be a good mentor to the young guys and certainly a good partner with Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Grady says, big on Trae Young. That team may just grow into a championship team without adding anything. Sky's the limit for that guy. That guy's going to be a champion one day. He's definitely got the intangibles that you want. He's got that killer instinct. He's a little bit of a showman. We saw at Madison Square Garden. It was crazy. He goes from seems like everybody knows who Trae Young is, and then game one he turns into the NBA, at least Madison Square Garden's ultimate villain. It was quite the sight to see him. Boy, did he rise to the occasion. He's, like you said, great. He's going to be a special, special player. So here we go. Top of the Eastern Conference. We got 3 teams left. We all know the 3 now. What order will they place? Here we go. I've got the Nets finishing with the best record in the East at 63-19, followed by the Bucks and the 76ers. I think Philadelphia is going to unload Ben Simmons at some point. I think it'll be addition by subtraction. You still got Joel Embiid, who is an MVP candidate. You got Tobias Harris, who's a very good player, had an all-star caliber year last year, if we're being honest. You got young talent. Seth Curry really came on in the playoffs. They did lose Dwight Howard, and the signing of Andre Drummond was curious at best to me. I didn't really understand his fit with the 76ers. I guess trying to fill that Dwight Howard role, even though they're pretty different players. And you obviously got guys like Thibault, who's really good defensively. So all in all, I think once they get Ben Simmons out their hand, and obviously they'll get something. But they won't get an all-star caliber player for him, but they'll get something in return that can help them, contend for a championship, or at the very least, maybe get to the Eastern Conference Finals. This is gonna be a really good team. The defending champion Bucks, I got it 2. Giannis, it looks like, may have a jump shot, which is bad news for the rest of the league. As we're seeing in the preseason, his shot looks just like his teammate Chris Middleton's. But you bring all those guys back, you're talking about I wouldn't say a non-pandemic season because it is still a story, but certainly a less weird season, not as much testing. You got fans in the building. I think that's going to help them all the way through. They play hard, similar to the Knicks. They just got more talent, obviously. And then the Nets at number 1. I don't anticipate Kyrie Irving. I think he's played his last game as a Net, and I think they pretty much moved on. But you got James Harden, who's coming into the season in 10,000 times better shape than he did last year with Houston. Obviously, he's in the spot where he wants to be. And you got, some people argue is the best player on the planet in Kevin Durant. You add Patty Mills, you add Paul Millsap. This Nets team is about as well put together of a roster as there is in all basketball. What are your thoughts on my top 3 in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, like I said, I definitely see the Nets winning. They'll definitely be first. They might be close, lower to 60 wins. The Bucks will definitely be there. They lost PJ Tucker. They didn't really add nobody to the team. And then Philly, like I said, you don't know what they're gonna do with Ben Simmons, so they can be easily from 3rd to 5th, because like I said, you're not gonna probably get a quality, equal player for Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? At this point, so you got to see. Philly is definitely tricky. If Ben sticks around, they definitely can be from 3 to 1. And like I said, but other than that, like I said, 1, 2, and 3 looks about right if everything stays the same. Kyrie, I don't know. I think Kyrie gets his shot by this weekend, to be honest, man.
You think so?
Yeah, man. I think he misses a game or 2. He feels it, and he comes. I think he comes by, game 5, game 6 or whatever, get into game shape, because he haven't been practicing with the team. And so I believe Kyrie will be back this season. I think he's not going to retire or nothing like that. So I definitely see Kyrie coming real soon. So definitely the Nets will be number 1. Like I said, Milwaukee, they side. As long as they got the Greek Freak and he stays healthy, man, and they coming off a championship, showing the Greek Freak can definitely lead a team. He's definitely 2. Like I said, the tricky spot is just 3. So we'll definitely see.
Yeah, I think 3 is really going to be the most interesting spot. I put Philly there, and it kind of leads into a comment Grady has. He says, why do you think it is so hard to trade Simmons? You can get John Wall, Colin Sexton, Brogdon, somebody like that easily. You're not going to get a package like Irving to Boston or Harden to the Nets. That's fair, and it wouldn't shock me if it was a multi-team trade like the Harden to I think it was 4 teams involved when Harden got traded to Brooklyn. Yeah. I mean, look, that's kind of my argument is obviously you get the big story out of a locker room. That's, that'll be settled. And then you are able, I didn't think about John Wall. I think he could maybe be a good fit if he's able to stay healthy in Philadelphia. That could possibly work. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of my point. And he says, but you can get a scoring guard and a solid rotation player, even if Simmons is damaged goods. Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, what will keep you in this league longer than anything is talent. And intangibles wise, Ben Simmons is about an F, but talent wise, he's A plus. So that's some team, some desperate team is going to take a chance. Maybe they could get dare I say, a Buddy Hield from Sacramento, a De'Aaron Fox from Sacramento. Who knows? I mean, they're a pretty desperate franchise themselves. So yeah, I can see that happening. But all right, there you go. That's my Eastern Conference standings. Going in order 1 to 15: Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Miami, Indiana, Boston, Charlotte, Toronto, Washington, Orlando, Detroit, and the Cavs finishing in last. So that's where I'm at. John likes Miami and Washington more than I do. He likes Detroit more than I do, and I think I like Philadelphia and the Knicks a little more than he does. So there you go. That's about where I think the Eastern Conference will sort itself out at the end of the season. Let's go to the Western Conference, or what I call the Bestern Conference, because it really is. It is stacked from top to bottom. It is about as loaded as it's been in years. So even the bottom isn't garbage compared to the East, save for a couple teams that are rebuilding. So let's start with the bottom of the West. 11 through 15, I've got Minnesota, San Antonio, Sacramento, Houston, and Oklahoma City. Obviously, the latter two are in complete rebuild. They got a very young basketball teams. They're definitely a work in progress this year. Sacramento, I think, is going to unload at least one half of their backcourt, if not both, possibly in a trade for Ben Simmons. Tyrese Halliburton is a really good player. I liked Davion Mitchell, the pick from Baylor, but they've basically got 4 guards. They're in a very similar situation, really, John, that the Hornets were in last year with Graham and Ball and Rozier. So they're in a kind of like Cleveland. Their roster is just not very well put together. Obviously, you got Bagley, who was a complete bust from a few years ago. San Antonio, I think, takes a massive step back. With all due respect to Greg Popovich, you lost DeMar DeRozan, you lost Patty Mills. I think it's rebuild mode for the Spurs, and they just don't know it yet. And I think the Timberwolves win 38 games this year. You got Karl Anthony Towns, 7th year. He knows he needs to show up. You got Anthony Edwards, who is second for Rookie of the Year, had a great rookie season. And you've got D'Angelo Russell, who's a good player as well, who was an all-star a couple of years ago. Your thoughts on my bottom 5 in the Western Conference?
Yeah. Like I said, Oklahoma City, they got 1,000 first-round picks. Mm-hmm. Let's see what you got. The Pelicans, Zion going.
No. That's Houston.
Oh, that's Houston. Oh, yeah, Houston. Yeah, Houston. Though they're going to be exciting to watch, but they're not doing anything this year. Like I said, they're trying to figure out with John Wall. Is he sitting? Right, he's sitting. Right.
No, he's excuse me. He's been in training camp with the team. He's been participating, so but I'm sure that they'll look to deal him. He's a veteran. They'll want to get some more draft picks and more assets for him. But go ahead.
Yeah. Like I said, I know it was a report though they was talking about sitting him and not playing him as much and getting the young boys a run. Sacramento, like you said, they don't know what they want to do with it, and Ben Simmons or not. Like I said, they had reports before that they didn't want to trade Fox for him. Maybe they can trade Hill and like I said, Hannenberg for him. So we'll see. Spurs don't know what they're going to do. They're the sleepers in that Ben Simmons race. So don't sleep on the Spurs on that race. And he'll be over there by himself, but they're on the rebuild regardless. And Timberwolves is a very, very tricky team, man. I can see the Timberwolves in a playing game. So we'll definitely see on that one.
I really think Minnesota's going in the right direction. With some of the young players that they've acquired. I excuse me, I am sleeping on Simmons to San Antonio. You think he's going to work well with Greg Popovich? I don't think that's going to work at all. So I'm definitely sleeping on them as a scenario. But that's kind of where I'm at with San Antonio. But you made a good point about Houston, though. They've got a good talent. What's the word I'm looking for? A good group of young scorers. You got Jalen Green. You've got who's the kid? Porter. You got Christian Wood, who was in the running until he got hurt for most improved player. I like where Houston's going.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because they got peanuts on for Harden last year. I guess it was worth it because they got the number 2 pick overall. So I guess it was worth it. They didn't want to take on salary as well. Hello. We'll definitely see. You there? You there, Bryson? Can't hear you. Bryson's working on it. Like I said, definitely Houston got something back. Definitely see what Houston's doing. Like I said, I like Timberwolves. You there? You there? Having some
Oh,
technical
here we go. Here we go.
difficulty.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Yeah, I hear you now. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. I cleared it out as much as I could, man. I cleared it out as much as I could.
It's all good.
So Western Conference. Let's talk about the play-in teams. Let's show them up right now, 10 through 7. From 7 to 10, I'm going to go Clippers, Dallas, Portland, and New Orleans. Here's the thing with New Orleans. I hated that they let Lonzo Ball go. It made no sense to me whatsoever. I think Zion, although he's not going to be available to start the season, he's going to be, he's going to continue to take more steps into being a future superstar NBA player. He's as good as they come as far as talent wise. And so I think
Right.
that the Pelicans will sneak into the play-in game. Portland's in a weird spot. I mean, I have them winning 45 games. That's not bad, but
Yeah, it isn't.
it's a roster that, once again, no defense. I like Chauncey Billups. I think he will be a successful head coach there. But I think the Damian Lillard trade scenario thing, my gut feeling is he finishes the year in Portland and gets traded next offseason after, once again, finishing around the 8 or 9 seed. He's going to get tired of that after a while and want to move, elsewhere. But I think he wants to try and make it work with Chauncey Billups. I'm sure he has a lot of respect for him, being a former champion and being a guy who I think can be a good head coach. So I got Portland at 9, and then at 8, Dallas. I hated the Jason Kidd hiring for the Mavericks. He wasn't great in Brooklyn. He wasn't great in Milwaukee. I mean, Budenholzer took over a year after Kidd got fired, and the Bucks won 60 games. So I think it goes to show you, and I don't even have that high regard for Budenholzer. And then at 7, the Clippers winning 50 games. I think I'm going to make a bold prediction here because Kawhi is going to be out most, if not all, of this season. It's a good roster. I think we're going to see a little bit of the Steph Curry last year syndrome with Paul George, because I think Paul George is fully capable when he knows he's the main guy of winning a lot of games for his team. And I think he's giving me the MVP discussion, but I think they may hold being the 7th seed against him a little bit. Like I said, kind of what they did with Steph last year and what they did to Kobe years ago. And so, I could see that scenario. What are your thoughts on my play-in teams in the Western Conference?
I'm glad that you got Dallas so low because everyone's so high on Dallas, but I see Dallas right where you got them, about that 8th, 7th, 8th seed. Portland, like you said, they it seems like they lost talent. They ain't really add no talent. Clippers, like you said, Kawhi, he's gonna be hurt for most of the season, if not the season. Depends how it goes. If they're still competing, then he might come back. If not, that's why he signed a longer contract. I do see, like you said, Paul George definitely. Last couple of years though, he's been good in the regular season. So I definitely see, like you said, averaging that, being like one of the top scorers in the NBA. He'd probably be top 5 because you got to step it up. And I was looking for that team, and it was the Pelicans. The Pelicans and Timberwolves, I see them swapping. I don't see the Pelicans making the playoffs. Like you said, Zion is out. They got a new head coach. They don't got Lonzo. They did add Graham from the Hornets, but I definitely, I don't like Pelicans at all. Like I said, Ingram, I love Ingram. He's a nice, good player, but yeah, I don't like the Pelicans. So I can see the Pelicans. So I would switch the Pelicans and the Timberwolves out for the playing game. And like I said, the Mavs, I see the Mavs wherever you got them. I'm happy that you got them that low because everyone's so high on them. I don't believe in KP like that. He hasn't showed a whole full season on, being the old KP from New York. And other than them two, they really don't got no talent like that. I mean, Hardaway is a good player, but he's not a great player. You know what I mean? And to be like in the playoff, like championship run or nothing like that. So Yeah, so it looks all about right there. I like what you got. Like I said, the only swap I do is the Pelicans and the Timberwolves.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from there. I mean, I could see the argument you make for New Orleans. Here's the thing: Brandon Ingram is a really, really good scorer. I mean, he's a 25 point per game guy. I
Absolutely.
just don't think he and Zion fit together. I don't think their
Mm-hmm.
playing styles really mesh well at all.
Right.
And so you add Graham, who's a really good scorer, was probably robbed of a most improved player,
Yeah.
nomination a couple of years ago. I mean, he's a
Right.
solid player. I just don't know how he fits there.
Right.
I like Willie Green. He was a former assistant with Golden State. I think he is, going to be a guy that can,
Yeah.
possibly do some good things with the Pelicans. And so that's why I got them getting the play-in. Dallas. Here's the thing. I'm with you on Porzingis. He drives me crazy because you're talking about a guy who's 7'3", and it feels like every third transition that Dallas, has, he's pulling up from three. I'm like, Kristaps, like, what are you doing? Like, you could be so dominant down low, and yet he doesn't take advantage of his incredible size. And so that's where I'm at on Dallas. Again, I didn't like the head coach hiring at all. When Lakers fans a year ago, the last couple of years, said, okay, Jason Kidd is our fallback plan in case Frank Vogel gets fired, I'm like, boy, that's a weak fallback plan. Obviously, if you have LeBron, he can do just about anything with any coach. But
Right.
that's I don't think Dallas made the right move. I don't know how happy Luka is with the organization. There's some stories that came out this offseason that there's some friction between he and Mark Cuban. So we'll see where that goes. But that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
So let's go.
I like
No, go ahead.
the kid. I like the kid hiring though. I like the kid hiring just because, like I said, he can help Luka a little bit more. He did a decent job in Brooklyn as his first year. They kind of hired him so when he retired. And the Bucks, he helped Giannis, and Giannis was even mad when he got fired or whatever. So, but yeah, I think it was a good hiring for Dallas though.
All right. We'll see how it turns out. So let's go 4 through 6. 4 through 6 seeds. So borderline contenders, but maybe not quite there yet. Although you can make an argument for some of them, maybe one of them. This is going to be my most controversial pick my entire time. Here we go. 4 through 5, I've got Jazz, Lakers, Memphis. I think the Lakers are the 5 seed. I think it's a poorly put together roster. I know you're a Melo guy. I'm rooting for Melo to do well this year. If Golden State doesn't win, I'd love to see Melo get a championship. I just think it's the oldest roster in NBA history, John. The oldest roster in NBA history. And LeBron, as great as he is, I think he's going to have an MVP caliber year. He is going to be 37. He can't drag a team like he used to. The fit with Westbrook makes no sense. It makes no sense. Kent Bazemore is going to drive y'all crazy. He drove me crazy as a Warriors fan, missed some wide open corner threes. Wayne Ellington made no sense. I like the Malik Monk move and the Dwight Howard move. That was about it. You can't trust Anthony Davis physically, although I do have him having a pretty good season. But there's just too much uncertainty. There's more questions than answers with the Lakers. Jazz at 4. Look, Donovan Mitchell is morphing into a great player. He's had back-to-back outstanding playoff runs with Utah. They bring back Mike Conley, Bogdanovich. Quinn Snyder's a good head coach, and Rudy Gobert is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. So that's going to be a good season for the Jazz. And right there at 6, I've been saying this for months. I absolutely love the direction the Memphis Grizzlies are going. I think John Morant is bordering on being a superstar. And, you look at the roster, Dylan Brooks is good. They added, Steven Adams, who I think might be a slight upgrade over Valanciunas. I think Steven Adams didn't really fit in New Orleans like a lot of players don't fit there. And so, I look at Memphis. I think Taylor Jenkins is an excellent head coach. Jaren Jackson's going to have a big year. I really, really like the direction the Grizzlies are going. I think they're going to avoid the play-in this year. I really do. So I know you're going to start with the Lakers. So go and chew me out here.
Yeah, man. Like I said, the Lakers is definitely, like I said, man. They're not going on a 5-year run. You know what I mean? Like they're not building for the future. They're winning for now. So I don't see an age. You saw Westbrook last year. He didn't slow down. LeBron been last couple of years with injuries, but he still showed you, even when injured, he's an MVP caliber player. Davis, rest up from last year. They sat him down. But he's definitely going to be up there. Dwight does what Dwight does. He give you that 15, 20 minutes a game, shot blocker. Melo, he's out there. Hey, he asks whatever you want. He gonna give it to you. Now he's on that stage. He ain't the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 option unless you coming off the bench or something like that. And like I said, I like their roster. You know, Monk gonna come off the bench, give them some spark. You know, they got Tucker. Tucker still, you know, he's out for a couple, I think a week or two though with an
Yeah.
injury. Rondo, like I said, they're built to win now. If we talking about 5 years from now, then all right. But for right now, like I said, I would have the Lakers number one personally. The Jazz are just the Jazz, man. Like
Yeah.
they'll always will be in the top 5, like every year, at least for the next couple of years. Rudy Gobert, he's a good, not great. He might be a great defender, but that's all he can do. Mitchell, he's definitely, like I said, that next coming like D Wade, like he's almost there on that same style of game. And John Morant, like I said, I love John Morant. I'm a big John Morant fan. We'll see though, because Jackson will have a good bounce back here. Hopefully, he's been dealing with injury. Like I said, I did like the Steven Adams pickup, even though I like the other guy. What's it,
Valanciunas.
Yeah, I liked him too though. I liked him though. He's a good player, like far as scoring wise, over Steven Adams. But I don't think Memphis is lacking scoring. So Memphis could be a team. Like I said, I can see them up and coming. So I can see them between that 6 and, like I said, 6 and playing games. So I can see them in that 6 to 10 range. But you know, I won't be surprised. Like if you got them at 6, I won't be surprised, or I won't be mad at it. But definitely the Lakers, man. You know, we've been talking for a long time, man. I believe in the Lakers, man. The Lakers at 5, and there's 3 to left, and I know who you like and stuff like that. So we'll see where these 3 going. I'm very interested in what these 3 are going.
I know
I
pissed off the City of Angels right here. Hey, guys, at least I have the Clippers at 7. At least I have y'all better than the hated basement team, I guess. But I mean, that's obviously Riza is out. I mean, are we talking about the same Trevor Riza who 3 years ago, when he was obviously 3 years younger, scored as many points as you and I combined against the Warriors in Game 7 when Houston really needed him? Are we talking about a Rondo that got multiple DNPs during the playoffs for the Clippers? DeAndre Jordan did not play 1 second last year with the Nets. I mean, there's pieces I like. The only part of the team that I absolutely love is LeBron James. That's it. He's the only part of a team that I'm like, okay, they're fine there. At the point guard spot, John, I think they should have went and got Lonzo Ball and brought him back. I feel like he's a better fit than Russell Westbrook is. That's just my opinion. And maybe going out and getting a Buddy Hield possibly. Instead of trading for Westbrook, you could have traded Kuz and Harrell and all those guys. And Caldwell Pope. So that's kind of where I'm at. I go ahead.
No, I was about to say, yeah, far as like you said, fit, I would say that, Lonzo probably better fit because he like to pass and stuff like that. But like I said, man, hey, it's talent, man. Once you put talent around LeBron, like I said, Westbrook, he hasn't shown any slowing down, you know what I mean? Between the 3 teams he played in the last 3 years, like he still showed you triple-double machine, man. And I definitely think that he's going to tone it down just a little notch when LeBron tell him to, and then bring it up when LeBron tell him to bring it up as well. So I like the Lakers, man. I've been big on the Lakers. So let's see what these 3 are. Let's see what these top 3 is, though, man.
I have my doubts about Westbrook. Here we go. Top 3. The teams I think are the in the front runners to win the championship. Here we go. 1 through 3. I've got Phoenix winning 60 games. I've got the Suns as the number 1 seed in the West, Golden State 2, and Denver 3. Denver gets everybody back. You get Jamal Murray back. You get obviously MPJ, coming back after a solid season, stepping up. If I'm not mistaken, John, they're getting Aaron Gordon back. Am I correct?
Yeah. He signed a contract. You talking about the Nuggets?
Yes, the Nuggets. Yeah,
he signed an extension. He's there to stay for 3 years, 3-year extension, I believe.
So they bring back Aaron Gordon. You got Nikola Jokic, the MVP, and you got some really good pieces on that team. I don't know. Again, I feel like they're a superstar away from arguably being the favorite in the West. I mean, considering the talent, the young talent that they do have. I like Mike Malone more than most people. I think he's an excellent head coach. And so I think Denver's going to be right where they've been the last couple of years at the 3 seed. My Golden State Warriors at number 2. I don't have them at number 1 because Klay's not going to be available the whole season. But you got the 2-time MVP. We all know what Steph Curry represents. You got Draymond, who's going to be more of an offensive threat this season. He's not going to be a 20-point per game guy by any means. But can he score 8, 9, 10 points a game? You'll take that with his outstanding basketball IQ and defense. Jordan Poole has arguably been the best player in the preseason. I mean, he has been outstanding. They're going to have a real decision to make once Klay gets back in the lineup as to what to do with him. You got Wiggins, who got his shots. He's going to be ready to go. Good defensive player. Showed me a lot last year. Improved his 3-point shooting. Wiseman will be back in time. Continue to develop him. And you got a guy in Moses Moody who I think is going to be more of a contributor day one than their first pick, Jonathan Kuminga, because of his shooting ability. I think he shot close to 75% from three in the preseason, so he can stroke it. So Golden State, I feel like they've improved their bench. They've got the core three once Clay's back, and I think they're poised for a big run. Phoenix, man, the only guy they lost was Torrey Craig, who was a minor contributor last year. You got Chris Paul, who, while he has shown signs of age, he can still ball. Devin Booker's only getting better. I'd say the only concern I have for Phoenix is the whole DeAndre Ayton situation, which is really weird. They haven't signed him to an extension. They did sign Mikal Bridges to an extension. Good for him. He's going to be a really good player. You got CP3 to mentor those guys, and Monty Williams. We all know how great of a coach he is. What are your thoughts on my top three?
I don't like your three at all.
I can tell you didn't like it.
Nah, I ain't like three at all. But I'm gonna switch it up a little bit for you. Just looking at yours, I don't like Phoenix at all. Phoenix overachieved last year, and they bring it back the same team. Right? And you made the argument of, you said you're Golden State. You said all the additions, all the people coming healthy. Golden State is a better team than Phoenix. Denver bringing everybody back, Jamal Murray and everyone. So I see this. This is what I'm gonna tell you. I have Denver as a 1 seed.
Okay.
I have Lakers at 2 seed. I have, let's see, if your boys stay healthy, I have Golden State 3 or 4 battling with the Jazz, and I have the Phoenix Suns in that 4 to 6 range. That's how I'll do that. I think if Murray comes healthy, man, like I said, Gordon coming back, you got a full season with Gordon. You sign what you call it to all that money. What's the young cat?
Porter Jr.
Yeah, Porter Jr. for all this money, but you don't want to give Aiden his money. But that's another conversation. But I see them, like I said, man. Denver been that top 3 seed the last couple of years as well. So everyone coming back, like I said, Gordon was a big addition last year. You had, you get everyone healthy. I could see Denver as the number 1 seed overall in the West. Like I said, Lakers will just be coasting. They could be 1 to 3. I think the Lakers could be 1 to 3. They'll just be coasting. Injuries depending on you for your Golden State Warriors. I do like the roster. I like y'all roster last year. Like I said, Wiggins was definitely a good pickup. Like I said, now he could be the 4th, 3rd option. You know what I mean? That's a hell of a 3rd or 4th option.
You're not kidding.
Poole definitely, he got his chance last year, man, and he showed what he can do. So, like you said, it's gonna be interesting when Clay comes back. Clay's gonna start, obviously, but that's a great 6th man to come off the bench. Wiseman another year, hopefully he can stay healthy. Draymond, like I said, I like that whole team. And they got what's the Kuminga? Now the great
Kuminga,
listen.
yes.
Yeah, and that's a great stash player, man, that you can stash him, and next year he can, come out and be that force next year. This year he can be that 7th or 8th guy off the bench, you know what I mean? But next year definitely I can see him doing big things. But yeah, so that'll be my top 3 right there. Like I said, Phoenix, I don't like Phoenix, man. I don't see them being number 1. They overachieved like the Knicks did last year. So I can see them in that 4 or 5 range. You know what I mean? Like I said, they didn't add nobody. They didn't do anything. Everybody got hurt last year. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, the Jazz are going to be the Jazz. So that's what I have right there. That's my opinion on that.
Okay, so we definitely align more in the Eastern Conference than we do the West. I think that's definitely been established for sure. You like the Lakers more than I do. I like Phoenix a lot more than you do. So you think last year was a complete fluke for the Phoenix Suns? Like you think Chris Paul is pretty much done?
No, I'm not gonna say. Yeah, I'm not gonna say like Chris Paul is done. I just think they overachieve. Like I said, Chris Paul has something to prove. Booker shows he got on that stage. Ayton took a step up, and then like I said, you had injuries to LeBron and AD. Golden State was banged up. Denver lost Murray, and you saw they still was competing. They still was there with them. So if you have everyone stay healthy, yeah, they're definitely gonna be 4 or 5 seed. Maybe they prove me wrong. They'll still be a good team. Chris Paul still do his thing. I like Chris Paul as a floor general. I always liked the Booker game before everyone got on the Booker train, and Ayton is definitely a solid, almost borderline Dwight Howard-ish. Dwight Howard's a little more
Wow.
athletic than Aiden was, but he does have that potential. And pay that man. Why they ain't pay that man?
I don't know, man. I don't get it. Again, I think they made the right move in paying Bridges. I think he's a excellent young player, and he's only getting better. Why don't you pay as good as I think Bridges is going to be? Why don't you pay the guy that's clearly a bigger contributor and a better player?
That's crazy.
Your guess is as good as mine, man. But
yeah, man.
That's where we're at. So
Okay.
let's go in the play-in tournament before I get to end of season awards. So what based on what I think the standings will be, this is how the play-in would shake out. You would have the Hornets playing the Celtics and the Pacers playing the Heat in the Eastern Conference. Down there at the West, you'd have New Orleans against Portland and Dallas against the LA Clippers. So I will go ahead and put up who I think will get the W's. I got the Celtics. I got all the home team. I got a home team sweep. Celtics beat the Hornets. Miami beats Indiana. Portland beats New Orleans, and the Clippers beat Dallas. Any objections?
Nah. That looks good. That looks good. I will agree with the same one that Dallas one might go 7, just because that Luka power. But other than that, I can see all those guys. Yeah. Or well, not even 7. It's a playing game, so yeah, they'll win. I'm thinking of the
well, there you go. It's not serious. It's one game.
right.
So and then as far as how the winners would shake out, Boston's the 9 seed and the Pacers the 8 seed would take the loss, in my opinion, to the Heat. And Portland would host. Excuse me, they would go to Dallas to play the Mavericks. So there you go. Let's put up the winners. I got the 2 road teams winning. I got Boston going to Indiana and winning, and Damian Lillard. As much as I like Luka, again, he is yet to win a playoff series, and Damian Lillard is that dude. I mean, he is.
There's Dame time, man. Definitely.
Yeah, no kidding, man. One game for your life. Dame is in that group of guys. You're like, okay, he's literally got ice water in his veins. He's when it's time to show up, Damian Lillard is that guy. I think he's shown that on numerous occasions. So awards.
I'll take Indiana though. No, I was saying I'll take Indiana in that one though over Boston.
Okay.
I like LeVert. Like I said, once he come back healthy to that team, I think like I said, they're a better overall team than Dallas. I mean, than Boston. So I'll take Indiana in that one.
Yeah, and the only issues I have with Indiana right now is are they involved in a Simmons trade like they were with with James Harden in Brooklyn? Is that a possibility? So we'll see. But before we get into the playoffs, let's talk about award winners. We're talking Coach of the Year, Most Improved Player, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man, and then MVP, of course. So let's start with the Coach of the Year, a guy who totally won me over last year in the playoffs, the guy who I think is going to lead his team to the best record in the West. Monty Williams is my Coach of the Year this season. I think there are plenty of candidates out there, plenty of good ones, but I figure what he did last year, if Phoenix is able to come out and prove like, hey, we're no joke, we weren't a fluke last year, we're legit championship contenders once again. I think Monty Williams will win Coach of the Year if they win 60 games, like I predicted. What's your thoughts on this?
Oh
man.
Nah, he's a great coach, but like I said, I see Phoenix, taking that step back. So I can see, hey, my boy Billy Donovan maybe, or what's the coach name from Denver?
Mike Malone.
I can see Mike Malone or Billy Donovan winning the Coach of the Year. I do like Monty Williams. Like I said, he was runner up this year, or he won it.
He was runner up to Thibodeau, I think.
Thibodeau, right. He should have won it though. I mean, I wasn't mad either way. Like I said, Tibbs did a great job with New York, but yeah, like I said, I see Phoenix taking a step down, so that's why I could say I see Billy Donovan or Mike Malone, right, from Denver winning that.
I could see Billy Donovan winning Chicago, considering the talent they have here, and if he's able to put it together. I think Billy's an excellent coach. I guess OKC, the only reason they moved on from him is because they were going a different direction as far as rebuilding the team. Exactly. So that's why they made that move. But the only reason I don't see Mike Malone winning it, if they indeed place, if they're the 1 seed, as you mentioned, I think he probably will win Coach of the Year.
Right.
But if they finish third, like I think they will, they already did that the last 2 seasons, and the year before that they were the 2 seed. So we've kind of seen that before, and it's not going to be anything different from Denver than what we've watched in years past. So that's why to have Monty Williams, at least the argument, if he does indeed leads the Suns to the number 1 seed. So that's my Coach of the Year.
Okay.
So
Cool.
most improved player. This is one I thought about for a while. There's a lot of really good candidates. You're talking about, Jordan Clarkson. You're not most. I'm thinking about six man.
Yeah.
There's some good candidates out there, and I'm going to go with kind of a wild card here, a guy who Vegas isn't that high on, but I think might win most improved player. Here we go. I think Jaren Jackson's going to win it of the Memphis Grizzlies. You got to realize Jaren Jackson last year in the bubble, it was last year in the bubble. He gets hurt and Memphis completely nosedives. I mean, they probably make the playoffs if he doesn't, suffer that injury like he did. And then, last year they missed him for most of the season. He comes back and they get hot in the last 20 or so games and end up making the playoffs. So I think he's going to continue to take that next step. I think he's going to be a big part of a 51-win season for the Grizzlies. What are your thoughts on this? And if you disagree, is there anyone else that you'd propose?
No, I could see him because he definitely had the talent, and he just hasn't been, on the court. You know what I mean? So I could definitely see that. And if how you're saying is Memphis is going to be with the 6th seed, if he beats the 6th seed, like what you're saying, he'd definitely be most improved or in that running. Like I said, I don't have nobody on there I can think of at the top of my head, but yeah, I could definitely see him. He's next up. He just got the bag too. He just got paid. So I could definitely see him in the running. I can't put my finger or think of anyone at the moment, but yeah, I won't be mad at it, and I definitely predict a big year from him as well. So.
And historically, when you look at guys that have won Most Improved Player, they usually go on to be pretty good. I mean, you're talking about, Jimmy Butler won the award. I believe Giannis won the award one year. And you see what those two guys, as well as many others, have become. So usually, if this is, to me, it's by far the most underrated award, in that if you win this, it's like, okay, you are really progressing into possibly being a great player in this great league. So I think Jaren Jackson is going to be that guy. Sixth man of the year, I'm going to go with another wild card. You're talking about, two Jazz players, Ingles and Clarkson. There's a lot of other guys out there. I'm going to go with a guy who's going to have a big bounce back year, might actually be in the running for most improved player, and that's Tyler Hero. I think Tyler Hero is going to win sixth man of the year. I think he let the bubble stuff get to his head a little bit last year. We all know Miami has plenty of distractions as a city. And so I think he's back in the gym this year. His college coach, John Calipari, talked about, he's the absolute gym rat, very Kawhi Leonard-esque. So I think he's been grinding this offseason, and I think Tyler Hero is going to have a bounce back year. He's my sixth man of the year. Who do you have?
He's definitely, yeah. I was reading something the other day. He was focused and stuff, and was expecting a bounce back year. And he's a great player, so I think it's either him or my boy Caruso.
Oh my goodness, here we go.
Six man of the year, man. 6 man of the year. He definitely gonna get, like I said, Caruso's gonna get more burn in Chicago. He hasn't got, because he definitely got a lot of burn in LA, but he's definitely gonna get more opportunities in Chicago. So I can see him or Hero definitely competing for that 6 man of the year, definitely.
Yeah, you could definitely make an argument for Caruso for sure. And again, I'm not ruling out Jordan Clarkson. He's kind of the modern day J.R. Smith in that it seems like he takes the most ridiculous, ill-advised shots. He's got the greenest of green lights, and yet and still he does his thing. And I think he might have had 50 in a game last year. So he's definitely continued to get better and better. So, but I got Tyler Hero winning the award. I think the leadership from guys like Lowry coming in, and obviously Butler and Udonis Haslem, doesn't hurt as well. So Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year is a really, really interesting one, because we talked about me and my guy, Mike Guido. This is one of the deepest drafts. Jay Billis of ESPN called it the deepest draft since 2003, which is, boy, is that saying a lot. You're talking about LeBron and Chris Bosh, Melo, Dwayne Wade. I mean, that draft, Darko. So you had a great draft that year. But I hear a lot of people saying Cade Cunningham or Jalen Green. I'm going to go with the guy that I've loved since college, and that's Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs, big game, big moment in Gonzaga. He showed up. Obviously, we all know about the game winner against UCLA and what was one of the greatest college basketball games of all time at the buzzer. But he's a good shooter, very smart point guard. He's got all the intangibles that you want in a guy to build your franchise around. I think he's going to be a future all-star. And I think he's going to show up big. Again, the Magic are going to win a ton of games. But look, that's not exactly a prerequisite for Rookie of the Year. So I think he's going to win it. Who do you have winning Rookie of the Year, John?
Like I said, I ain't mad at that one either. Like I said, it's definitely a deep draft, but I'm gonna go with the number one pick, man. I'm gonna go Kate Cunningham, man. I
Okay.
think he gets. I think in Detroit, like you said, he's gonna average 15 and 9 easily. Like I think he gets that smoothly. He'll be in the top, in assists as well. So yeah, I got Kate Cunningham. Like I said, the Pistons, they got a lot of big mans and stuff like that. They're up and young coming team, and he's going to be the star of that team. Like you said, for All Stars and stuff like that, he's definitely. I can see him definitely being an All Star in the next 2 years. So
Yeah.
I got Kate Cunningham. Like I said, Suggs is definitely going to get opportunity, but they got some guards over there as well in Orlando. See, they drafted my boy last year from Carolina, and they still got Fultz and stuff like that. So I think that's a little more, the ball not going to be in his hands as much, and they probably not even going to ask for him to be in his hands. But Kate Cunningham is going to start, game one and go from there. So
I mean, I see the Magic as a team like the Timberwolves. I mean, again, you had the Timberwolves getting in the play, and I had them barely missing it. I don't see the Magic as competing for the play-in, but I see them almost that same trajectory. They've got young talent. They're an organization that look, they're a little over a decade removed from being in the NBA Finals. So, you got to keep that in perspective. And so I think with the young talent Orlando has, they're going to continue to progress in the right direction. And so, Jalen Suggs is going to be a big contributor to that. And so that's why I've got him winning Rookie of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year. No, it's not going to be Rudy Gobert. I'm just going to go and tell y'all that right now. And so, Los Angeles, man, y'all must think I hate y'all. I think Los Angeles is one of the greatest cities in the world. And so to maybe ease the blow a little bit of me thinking y'all are going to be the 5 seed, Defensive Player of the Year, Anthony Davis.
Oh, I thought you said DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, no way. No, Anthony Davis, look, and this is all, health is always a big if with this guy, but I thought he was robbed of it, against Rudy Gobert in 2018. I thought he had a massive year defensively. Right. Again, if you're talking about the physical gifts to be one of the best rim protectors in basketball, here's your guy. He's a guy who can average a block and a half a game, defensive rebounds. He's an absolute beast inside. I think Anthony Davis is going to be an absolute menace this season defensively. Do you agree? And if not, who's your pick?
No, I definitely agree on that. Like you said, he's going to be asked to do, well, first, Dwight Howard is back, so he can, slide down to that 4. And like I said, the Lakers are going to be running and stuff like that. Even though they're old, they're still going to be, bouncing around, going off each other's energy. And you'll see tonight against your Golden State Warriors. And so I won't be mad. I won't be mad. And I can see definitely, Anthony Davis getting Defensive Player of the Year. And I can see Ayton up there, competing as well. But I like that. I can agree with you on Anthony Davis.
Okay. Well, see, there we go. We found a common ground. LA, I think I didn't say you didn't have talent. I didn't say that. And I think Anthony Davis, look, Charles Barkley aptly called him street clothes last year because, he can't stay healthy. And I think,
right.
think little slights like that, I think he's taken to heart. So I got Anthony Davis winning Defensive Player of the Year. MVP, man, this is a tough one.
MVP.
Kevin Durant is the Vegas leader for MVP. I would not be shocked in the slightest if he won. It's kind of crazy to me that he only has one MVP, and some argue that could have went to LeBron that year. I think LeBron is going to finish in the top 3. I really do. You've got plenty of guys. Damian Lillard's a wild card possibly. I just talked about Paul George. I think he's going to have a huge year. I just don't think the Clippers are going to match that. And so the most valuable player in the National Basketball Association in 2022 will be Wardell Stephen Curry the second. So, listen, here's the thing, and this is not being a Warriors fan. This is the God's honest truth from my heart.
Yep.
Last year, no Klay Thompson. I mean, you saw the pictures, John. I showed some of the photos and angles on my show. He's getting not just triple teamed, occasionally 2 or 3 times last season, he was getting quadruple teamed. So, guys were hugging up on him. So he's used to everybody throwing the kitchen sink at him, and now he's going to get Klay back. He's going to have that much more space. Obviously, he's going to defer to Klay a little bit more. His stats probably aren't going to be as impressive as far as points per game as last year. He's probably not going to lead the league in scoring. But as far as overall impact, there's not that many players. I would say LeBron, and that's about it as far as impact on a basketball team currently in the league, and Giannis as well. What are your thoughts on this? Do you also have Steph winning the MVP? And if not, who do you got?
Nah, like I said, I'm a rock with Vegas. I'm gonna go with KD just because, KD is he's just an animal. Like you said, it's definitely crazy that he only won one. But that's just like Jordan. Jordan could have won it every year as well. Same for LeBron. But
Yeah.
like I said, definitely you kind of answered my question as far as why Curry wouldn't, win it because, his stats are going to drop just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like I said, he's got, more talent around him as far as being healthy and when Clay comes back. So that's why I got Curry. He'll finish in the top 5. Him, LeBron. Like you said, I can see Paul George up there. But definitely, I got KD. Like I said, KD's going to rampage this year. He got something to prove. He's going to have Harden to start the season. We'll see what Kyrie does. Like I said, Kyrie will be back soon. But I got KD, man. KD will be leading the league in scoring, and he'll take home the MVP.
I got to be honest. I don't think the biggest hot take of the show thus far is me saying that the Lakers are going to be the 5 seed. I think it's you saying Kyrie's going to get both shots. Because I don't see it happening. But
Kyrie's going he's going to get it, man. He'll be by next week. Like I said, we'll go live. You can go live with me, whatever. And I'll be like, I told you Kyrie's getting that shot, man. He's going to get that shot. Trust me.
I'll give you credit if you are indeed correct. Listen, it wouldn't surprise me. So, listen, the NBA playoffs, this is what it's all about. We all know that when it comes down to it, this is what makes and breaks legacies. And so let me just go ahead and get some background music playing because it deserves it. Let's look at the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference. So the matchups, if the standings are what I think they'll be, you'll have the Boston Celtics taking on the Brooklyn Nets, your Bulls taking on the Atlanta Hawks, the Heat taking on the Bucks for a 3rd consecutive year, and a really interesting one, Knicks versus 76ers. So my thought on each of these series, I'm going to go and put the results right here. Let's just jump right off the bat. I got Nets in 5 over Boston, just like last year. I think, just talent-wise, there's a massive gap. It's not even close.
Right.
The Nets will win that series in short order. Boston will get like one Game 4 win after, just for pride. I got Hawks in 7 over your Bulls. As much as I do like your Bulls, I think Atlanta is a little bit better of a team. They have more playoff experience than a lot of the guys on that team. So I think your happy season will unfortunately fall short in the first round. So we'll see what happens there. Bucks over Miami. Listen, we saw what happened last year. I'll give Miami a game just because they added Kyle Lowry. Maybe he and Jimmy Butler can carry them to a home win in that series. But, we all know Milwaukee's on a different level. They're looking for back-to-back. And then 76ers in 6 games over the New York Knicks. What's interesting about this is Joel Embiid has shown a tendency to somewhat collapse physically in the postseason. And so I think that will be a factor. I think the Knicks will push them, but ultimately Philadelphia will get it done in 6 games and advance to the second round. Your thoughts on my predictions for this?
Yeah, definitely like the Nets. Like I said, they play Boston. I like Nets in 5. The Hawks and Bulls, like I said, I can see 7. I like that you put it 7 at least. It can go either way. I think talent-wise, we're about even. We might have a little more talent, to be honest, but I won't be mad if my Bulls take the Hawks to 7, especially in their first year together as a team. Sixers and Knicks definitely see that in 6. And the only disagreement I have with you is that Bucks, man, and Heat. I could see that going 6 or 7 games, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I can see. Like I said, Lowry's there. Like I said, Hero. We got Hero winning 6th man of the year, right? Almost improved.
Yes.
Yeah.
6th man of the year.
6th man of the year. I could see him bouncing back. And I can see them giving, as they have been the last couple of years, they definitely been battling. So I can see the Bucks and Heat going 6 or 7 games, definitely in the first round. If you have it, that's how the playoffs looks.
Well, I thought that was going to happen last year. I really did. But man, I mean, after game 1, Milwaukee it's one of those situations. It just looked like they wanted it more than Miami. I think there might have been some fatigue from the bubble that might have played factor. So you get a full off season for the guys that were a part of that finals run last year for the Heat. So I could see your argument. Maybe it does go 6 or 7 games if these do indeed match up in the playoffs. But Milwaukee's a better team. They're a championship contender. I'm not real sure if Miami is right now. So outside of that, you pretty much we pretty much agree in all these.
Definitely, yeah.
Let's shift to the Western Conference first round. I'm going to go back and forth. Excuse me. If my standings do indeed stand, you'll have the Portland Trailblazers taking on the Phoenix Suns, the Nuggets against the Lakers, the Clippers against my Warriors, and then the Grizzlies taking on the Jazz. Let's go ahead and put up the results. I will have the Suns winning in 5 games over Portland, the Lakers in 5 over the Nuggets, Golden State in 6 over the Clippers, and the Jazz getting pushed 7 games by the Grizzlies. Starting with Phoenix, look, they're a great defensive team. They don't get enough credit for that. They've locked teams down at times in the postseason just months ago. And, I feel like Damian's sights will be somewhat set on, okay, this is it. They won't get closed out in Portland. Damian won't let that happen. But if you look at Phoenix again, I think they're a team that's destined to make a deep run. Lakers in 5 over Denver. I don't think the Lakers' issues will come back to bite them in this series because, frankly, you brought up talent, and talent-wise, as good as Denver is, it's not even close. I mean, it really isn't. So you've got playoff battle-tested guys like LeBron. They'll take care of Denver in short order. Warriors in 6 over the Clippers. I had it in 6 because I don't know if Kawhi is going to be back or not, but I feel like it'd go 7 games if Kawhi was healthy for a full season should these two match up. But I feel like he'll be working his way back in. Trying to get in good basketball shape. And as far as Golden State, they'll be off and running, and they'll beat the Clippers in advance. Jazz will get pushed by 7 against Memphis. Remember, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Ja score like 45 against the Jazz? And I think it was game 2 of that series a year ago. So, you got good young players, John Morant versus Donovan Mitchell once again. I think it'll be a very entertaining series. What are your thoughts on this?
They're all looking good. I'm actually going to take all the games in 6. I think the Lakers and Denver will go 6. I think that'll be a tough, especially first-round matchup for the Lakers, you know what I mean? So I could definitely see the Lakers winning 6. Dame, like I said, Dame going to give you more than 1. So I got Dame with 2 wins versus Phoenix. Your Warriors, like I said, Kawhi ain't going to be there, so I can see the Warriors in 6 just because, like I said, they're more healthier than the Clippers. Clippers can definitely push them, but maybe even the Warriors in 5. And then I got the Jazz in 6 in that one. Like I said, the Jazz smacked them this year, right? They beat them in 6 this year or 5?
5.
This year? 5, yeah. So I can see the same. I can see Jazz in 6.
Okay. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I could see all the series going 6. Again, I did my Warriors, in that amount of games just because of my respect for Paul George and again, the possibility that Kawhi comes back. That's probably one of the biggest question marks that's not getting talked about going into the season is whether Kawhi is going to play or not.
Right. Yeah.
And given his medical history, you have no idea. So that's a big question mark. And again, love where Memphis is going, but they're not quite ready yet. The Jazz are more battle tested in the playoffs, so they'll win in 7 games. Let us shift to the Eastern Conference semifinals. And if I'm correct on my picks, it would match up the Atlanta Hawks and the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks, which, boy, what an interesting series that would be. Let's put it up here. I'd take Nets in 6 over the Atlanta Hawks. I think Trey would push them. And I got Bucks in 5 over Philadelphia. It will be a hard series to watch, John, in this regard, that both coaches kind of, as fans, kind of drive us nuts in Doc Rivers and Mike Budenholzer in the playoffs. Right. I think ultimately, I mean, if it comes down to this, I think Milwaukee's mentally tougher team than Philadelphia is. I feel like there's almost that psychological barrier that the 76ers have to overcome that the Bucks, frankly, already have, that they did last year. So right. Do you have any objections to my predictions here?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it all depends on what Philly does with Ben Simmons to me. I think if they get a fair return or have Ben Simmons, I can see the Bucks in 6. And the Nets definitely in 6. I think the Nets, like you said, Trey will get you maybe 1 or 2. Trey will definitely get you 1, maybe 2. So I can see the Nets winning in 6. And I think the Bucks and 6 go 7. To be honest, I'm gonna take the Bucks in 7.
Okay. So you would have Milwaukee in back-to-back series going 7 games, the defending champions getting pushed to an elimination game, or maybe multiple, depending on how the series goes.
Right. Yeah. How you got it? How you got it set up? Yep, I can see definitely the Bucks back-to-back 7-game series.
I got you. Let's go back to the Western Conference. The semifinals will match up the Los Angeles Lakers and the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz and the Golden State Warriors. Let's put the results. As I've said for months, the Lakers will go home in the second round against the Phoenix Suns for a second consecutive year, and Golden State will win in 5 games over Utah. Let's start with the Lakers because, again, Los Angeles is not happy right now. At the end of the day, I will give you this, Laker Nation. If Anthony Davis does not get hurt in Game 4, y'all win that series in 6 games. I think it's over in 6 for the Lakers last year. It's this year, though. Russell Westbrook has, to this point, won one playoff series without Kevin Durant. And in those games, he's had a couple of good ones, but most of them have been head scratchers. So I think he'll have at least 3 in this series. I think you're talking Chris Paul versus Russell Westbrook. Westbrook's a better player right now. I don't think anybody's debating that. But as far as the guy who I trust more, I'm going to go with CP3. Devin Booker, I trust more than Anthony Davis in the playoffs. Outside the bubble, what has AD really done in the postseason? And LeBron's great, but again, he can't carry a team like this to a win over a team in Phoenix that just got to the finals. And Golden State over Utah, I feel like Golden State will be coming off of somewhat of a tough first round over the Clippers, a team that would not be in the 7th seed if their best player was healthy. And so they'll come off that momentum and against the Jazz. They matched up a few years ago and Golden State swept. So I think Donovan Mitchell will make it tough on him, but Golden State will ultimately control the series and win in 5 games. I know you have one objection. Do you have 2?
Yeah, you know I have one. Definitely I got the Lakers in 5 against Phoenix, and I got the Warriors. Like I said, if intact and stuff like that, I got the Warriors in 6. So I got the Lakers in 5. I got the Warriors in 6.
Lakers in 5. Dang, Lakers in 5?
Yeah, man. I think they get the ball rolling. Like I said, if they play Denver, how you got to set it up, man. I think Denver will be their toughest opponent in the playoffs, man. If they play Denver first round, so and I see them just taking that momentum and smacking Phoenix. Like Phoenix will get one. Phoenix will get one at home or whatever, or game whatever 5 or something. But that's it. I mean, not game 5 because they'll be ending 5. So.
Game 4, yeah.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
again, Warriors is 6.
I guess it goes back to you like Denver just slightly more than I do. It's not that I don't like Denver. I just don't know if they're on the same level as some of these other teams. So based on that, we would get, I think, really, let's be honest, the Eastern Conference Finals that we all wanted. Really, it was the NBA Finals, in my view, last year, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets. Again, I said going into that series on this show that felt like the finals to me. It felt like the best 2 teams left, and Milwaukee won that series in 7 games. And I think this year will be no different. I got Bucks in 7. I think, listen, this has not been talked about. Have the Nets address their defensive concerns? I mean, listen, it's great that you can put up as many points as you can, but eventually you're going to have some cold nights, and can your defense carry you home? Well, we definitely know the Bucks can do that. If Drew Holiday's going 1 for 10 from 3, or if Giannis is having a cold night, or Middleton, they've got defensive stoppers across the board. You can't stop Kevin Durant. That's a given. I'm sorry, John. Excuse me. I still don't trust James Harden in the playoffs. I don't. He has not shown me at any point in his career that I'm like, you know what? Ball in his hands, when it really matters, I can trust him. That's why I would take the Bucks in 7 games. Your thoughts?
I like Brooklyn in 6, man. Like you said, James Harden might not have been clutch or got his team to the championship, but he still definitely put up numbers. And now you got to think, he's not going to be the number 1. Like you said, he can't stop Kevin Durant. So if you got a great scorer to average 25 plus in the playoffs for his career as your number 2, I got the Nets in 6, man. Like I said, and then Kyrie will be back. I think they can't match up with the Nets. I mean, the Nets added, they got Millsap over there, which is a great. You're not asking him to be a starter or nothing like that, but he can definitely come off the bench and stop the Bobby Portis effect. Like I said last year.
You would like Bobby Portis. That was your guy. Last year.
Yeah, that was my guy last year, exactly. And then, Aldridge is back too, right? LaMarcus Aldridge?
Yes, he is.
Too, right?
He is.
Yeah, so they got, like I said, them 2 players are just bodies, you know what I mean? For the playoffs, for like Bobby Porter and players like that.
I think we lost John. Ladies and gentlemen. He just cut off. But no, I'll wait for him to get back on. Listen, he makes good points because at the end of the day, here's the thing about Milwaukee is, they've got guys like Bobby Portis, like I'll get you back on in just a second, John, to just make sure that the connection is good. Bobby Portis is a guy who showed up big in the playoffs. They signed him to extension. They lost PJ Tucker. Millsap can possibly fill the Jeff Green type role for the Nets. He is getting up there in age. I think Patty Mills is going to be a big upgrade. We've got John back on here. Can finish what you were saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got them bodies, like I said. And then you said Patty Mills. I forgot about Patty Mills. Like I said, man, the Nets is definitely built to win, man. And the subtraction of PJ Tucker, they actually gonna feel that. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
you just reminded me that adds to that Miami Heat. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I got the Nets in 6, man. Like I said, Giannis, carry the team. Giannis will definitely do what he got to do. But I like the Nets in 6, man. Like I said, Harden will, show up. He's the second option. Kyrie will be there. And like I said, Millsap and Ultras, they just big bodies. They'll stop that. Like I said, Bobby Portis and players like that. And I got the Nets in 6, man.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean, would anybody be shocked if Brooklyn got to the finals? That'd be, the biggest dud of the season.
All right.
But I just think right now, as much as I love KD, I think Giannis is right now the best player on earth. Certainly that's a big discussion for another day. But I think ultimately Milwaukee is. I trust them more in the playoffs. And also something else is neither coach. I don't think coaching is going to be the difference in the series because I don't trust Steve Nash or Mike Budenholzer. And
Mm-hmm.
so which coach, I guess, makes the least bad adjustments, I guess, might be one of the major storylines should these two match up. But I got
Right.
Bucks in 7, and John has Nets in 6. So let's go to my Western Conference Finals if it indeed does happen. You got the Phoenix Suns taking on my Golden State Warriors. Let's put up the prediction. I got another 7-game series in the West, and my Warriors prevail. At the end of the day, we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about Steph Curry. We're talking about Klay Thompson. We're talking about Draymond Green and the whole crew. Something else about Golden State is that we're talking about, Lakers chemistry. Chemistry is far from an issue with Golden State. Really, their only issue: get Klay back out there, get him, get good conditioning, slowly build up his minutes. You get to May, mid to late May, he'll be ready to go. Phoenix will have home court in this series, obviously being the 1 seed, but I think Golden State right now is a little bit hungrier than the Suns. And that's who I would have winning the series. You're not huge on Phoenix, so I think you would take Golden State. Am I correct?
Yeah. If you got this matchup, definitely, especially with Clay. If Clay is there, I would have Warriors in 6. If he's not there, and Wiggins and Poole take that and continue to be great as they was last year, yeah, I can see the Warriors in 7.
Okay. Well, there you go. I think it'll be a hard-fought series. So that means the granddaddy of them all, the NBA
Dun, dun,
Finals. Let's put up the
dun.
graphic right here. The Golden State Warriors taking on the defending NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. You got Steph versus Giannis. I mean, could you ask for a much? I mean, outside of LeBron versus Durant, this is about the second best thing we could get in the finals. And here we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a beautiful June for me because the Golden State
Yeah.
Warriors are going to win 6 games. Call me biased. I don't care. You can do that, John. You can do that, America. You can do that, everybody. Because look, I think it's a team that is, like I said, just hungry right now. They feel like we've missed out in the last 2 years while y'all have had y'all's fun. We're finally back healthy again. Milwaukee. This will be the second straight series where the Warriors will be on the road to start. But as much as I love Giannis, Steph is. If Steph wins this series, he can make the argument. He may, at least, I think he at least surpasses Olajuwon. Does he make an argument to be one of the 10 greatest players ever, John? Because you're talking about 4 titles. You're talking about multiple MVPs.
Yeah, no. If the Warriors win, especially if he win it without Clay, and he puts up great numbers, yeah, I can see him at least in that discussion. You know what I mean? Because he's definitely going to be great for the next couple of years, as far as numbers wise. But if he gets another championship, even if it's not this year, he'd definitely be in that discussion for sure. But I agree with you. I would have Warriors in 6 as well.
There you go. I got the graphic right there. So you got the NBA championship. You got the 6 titles. We would surpass your Bulls in NBA championships. Of course, all those came under the greatest player ever, Michael Jordan. But Steph will lead Golden State to their 7th NBA championship, and I think Steph would win Finals MVP. It's his time. Kevin Durant won the 2 times that they won when KD was there. I thought Steph had an argument to win that second Finals with KD there, and I definitely think Steph should have beaten Iguodala as good as Iguodala was in 2015. Right. Numbers wise, Steph had a bigger impact on that series than I want Iguodala. So
like
with that said, what's that?
It's like you said, numbers wise, but Iguodala had that moment. You know what I mean? The moments. And that's what it's like football scenario. Somebody get an interception or a defensive play, and they win the MVP. But, yeah.
Well, listen, you could have made that argument for Malcolm Butler, that one
Right.
Super Bowl over Tom Brady. I mean, so
That's what I'm saying.
that's kind of where I'm at. You make a good point. All right, there we go. That's our predictions for the NBA. But the Bucks and the Nets have actually tipped off. They're about midway through the first quarter now, so I apologize for keeping you that long, John.
It's all right.
But
it happens.
It was fun having you on. It was great having you on. We need to do it again next year. And
Absolutely.
that's my predictions. Laid on out there. Golden State's going to win the finals. There we go.
Yeah, remember, that's Bryson's prediction.
That's my prediction. Right.
I just went what he put up on graphics, and I just went what I like too as well. But definitely, I said Golden State will be good this year, man. So we both have something to cheer about more this year. You had the last 10 years for your,
6 years, 5-6 years ish.
5-6 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was giving you more because I was giving you a little bit more, but my Bulls they've been peddling,
right.
mediocrity the last 3 years, since D Rose era and stuff like that. So I'm happy, man. I can't wait. Like I said, something to cheer. My Jets suck, so they're rebuilding still.
And the sky is blue, John. And the sky is blue.
Right, Yankees. Next year. So
no, it's not going to be next year.
Salute to your Red Sox, man. Hopefully y'all beat Houston. Y'all looking like it. And hopefully y'all just get beat by the Braves in the World Series, and we go from there.
Hey, listen, Braves are legit, man.
Absolutely.
So, all right, I'm going to put on my Red Sox hat. They began against the Astros in about 10 minutes. I'm obviously simultaneously going to be watching Bucks Nets as John puts his Bulls hat on. I like the Bulls this year. I think they win over 50 games. Maybe they do get to the second round. I got them as the 5 seed, but I got them losing very close to Atlanta. But certainly they're fully capable considering the roster that they've got, the coaching that they've got to beat the Hawks and get to the second round. I think you would absolutely call that a success and continue to build from there.
Absolutely.
So shouts to you. Shout out to your background back there, Kobe. Rest in peace. And it's going to be a great year. By the way, 75th season of the NBA. So it's going to be fun.
75.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to having you on as well as many other guests on throughout the season from now until the finals in June. So everybody have a great evening. Continue to stay safe. Enjoy the NBA season. God bless you all. Peace out.
Peace.